Rhonda Head. Welcome to Resilience Radio once again.
Thank you for having me.
Well, every time I've talked to you over the years, it's not just like, oh, I'm a singer. It's, oh, I'm a singer and I wrote a book. Oh, I'm a singer and I just did a thing with the orchestra. Oh, I'm a singer and an author and now I wrote a new Christmas song. Can't keep up. Oh, I'm a singer and an author, wrote a Christmas song, and now I have a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I cannot keep up with you.
Well, you just got to keep yourself busy and reinventing yourself all the time. That's why I keep doing trying new things all the time. Especially if it scares me, that means I have to explore it and to see if it's a good goal to reach, or if it's a mistake, then I learn from it.
That's huge. A lot of people, humans, are too afraid to fail or take a chance or look stupid. So I'm glad that we're not those kind of people. So no shame.
No, none at all. You'll never know unless you try, right?
Yep. So I kind of want to start with a Rhonda 101. I feel like when we've talked, it's always been these short little bits on what you're doing to get out, but I want to kind of go back to the beginning and, let people connect with the book and all these albums and songs and things that have, because the past few years you've exploded.
Oh, okay, where should I start?
Well, do you remember the movie The Jerk? I was born a poor black child. You can just start there.
I was born a poor brown child.
There you go. That's the name of your second book.
I was born in a Pascagoula Cree Nation, and I grew up here till I was 16, and I left the reserve because living here wasn't a good time for me at the time. I was getting into bad. I was running with a bad crowd. Well, not my peers, and we're all experimenting, and I thought it was I felt like I could have went a totally different path, and I decided that I need to leave my community in order, if I was going to follow a different path. And I did. I moved to Winnipeg, and in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I graduated there from the University of Winnipeg Collegiate. And then from there, I went to fashion school in Toronto, following a Christmas, not a Christmas, following a childhood dream. So I went to fashion school. And then while I was there, I didn't know a soul, but I did have musical background. I took piano lessons when I was 6 years old till probably till about grade 5, grade 6, and I really excelled in it. And my teacher moved away, so I couldn't find another teacher that motivated me the same way. So I ended up not pursuing piano, which I regret now today, but it happened. But anyways, back to Toronto. I moved to Toronto, and I wanted to try something different out of the box because I didn't know a soul in Toronto, just my family that I was staying with and my classmates. So I decided to try, either I was going to go into dance, music, or acting. So I thought, well, I really thought about it, and I thought, well, I already have some musical background. So I decided to take voice lessons, and I looked in the Toronto phone book. Remember when we had phone books a long time ago?
I miss phone books. I was pretty quick with phone books.
Yeah, me too. And the phone book was like that huge in Toronto, and I thought, oh my god! And then the music section was like that thick, and I thought, oh my goodness, how am I gonna find a music teacher? So I went into the middle of that and pulled a page, and I just went like this. And that's who I phoned. And he happened to be in my neighborhood in Toronto. And Toronto is like a big metropolis. So it's not as big as Los Angeles, but it's huge. And there's, like, at the time when I was living there was 3 million people,
Ooh.
the population. So I phoned the instructor, the vocal teacher, who happened to be in my neighborhood in Toronto. So I made arrangements for lessons with him, and I went the following week. And when I went and knocked on his door, this beautiful man that looked like Warren Beatty opened the door, and I almost ran away because he was so gorgeous. But I forced myself to stay. I said, no, I'm going to follow through with what I said I was going to do. And he invited me in his place, and he gave me a little um, kind of like an orientation of what he expects with his lessons, and what he expects from the student. So he started telling me about the anatomy of the voice. He drew a head and a nose and the lips and the mouth and the throat. So he told me, as long as you have a nose, you could sing. And from right there, I experienced so much racism my whole life, and from him, just because he said that, it really encouraged me to stay and take lessons with him, because I knew right at that point he wasn't going to judge me for who I was as an Indigenous person. So I took lessons from him, and then the more and more we went through like vocal scales, and then he started introducing repertoire to me. And the repertoire he introduced to me was in Italian, and it kind of, I was kind of floored by it, because I wasn't I never thought about singing in a different language. So I was open to it, and I learned. My first song was in Italian. I studied the language and the diction and the phonetics, and I fell in love with it. Like, I really enjoyed it. And the longer I was going for lessons, that my teacher discovered that I did have a voice for classical music, and he suggested that I audition for the Toronto Opera. And for me, because I grew up in a residential school, and I had intergenerational residential trauma, I didn't have the self confidence to believe that he to believe him that I had a beautiful voice to sing in an opera.
Well,
So I
let's
thought,
pause that for a second.
okay,
You're making it sound easy. You're making it sound like you just picked a phone book and you found the perfect teacher and now you're an opera star. You you making a choice to leave the reservation was not easy.
no,
You going to
no,
university alone is not easy.
no,
You trying to stare at a handsome man and take advice from him about singing is not easy. So I
no,
think I don't want your bravery to be lost in all this. You were afraid every step of the way, but you did it
I was
anyway.
terrified.
And but that's the bravery. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's scared of something new. But you consistently rose up and met each of these challenges, which is it needs to be recognized and honored.
Thank you. Yeah, every new thing I did, it was terrifying, because when you grow up in your home, or your res, for example, like, you're used to that, and it's comforting, and it's all the same. And when you branch out and step outside the box, it's totally different, and it's terrifying. It's scary, and but I worked through it, and I just pushed myself through it. And I have to credit my family a lot, because they were always supporting everything that I decided to do. I didn't ask them for permission. I just went and did it. But they stood behind me and supported me.
Yep.
That's the other thing too. You don't need to ask to do something. Just go and try it.
Yep. Well, I,
Right?
I try things secretly, so if I fail, nobody knows about it. You know, it doesn't. So here you are, a Cree singing in Italian.
Yeah, I was singing in Italian, and the music was so beautiful, and it just flowed. And then I understood why Italian was considered one of the languages of love. And at that time, my teacher, he was so supportive, and I learned so much technique from him, and I really appreciated that he wanted to be my teacher, my first vocal teacher. And I always talk about him when I'm getting interviewed. And his name is Nicolino Steiner, and he's now residing in Vancouver.
That's amazing. And again, for you to meet a stranger who doesn't care about anything besides your nose, that's huge.
It is huge.
Because I know there's always a fear in me that if I try something, I am viewed as all the negative Indigenous stereotypes.
Right.
So and I can't imagine like the freedom you must have, the relief you must have felt.
Oh, it was a total relief. And I, after that, I totally trusted him, and I just let myself, um, I just let, I took in all his lessons that he taught me, and I studied hard because I wanted to impress him, because he was a beautiful man, and I didn't realize, I was I was creating like good technique for myself, and I fell in love with the music. So I always say, the classical music didn't find I didn't go looking for classical music. It found me, and I'm really happy and proud, and I'm glad I stuck to it, because it is like I found my voice singing that style of songs.
So he suggested you try out for opera. That's a huge jump. Like that's from just taking vocal lessons to we're going to stick you in an opera.
It was totally scary, and like I said, the intergenerational, growing up intergenerational with low self-esteem. I could not see myself singing on a stage like that. Meanwhile, my teacher saw something that I didn't see at the time,
But
and
you trusted him and you trusted yourself. That's huge.
yeah, but I did trust him about with my voice lessons, and just belting it out with him, and just finding my voice with him at that moment, at that small scale.
So here you are, a young Rhonda Head trying out for an opera. What was that like?
I didn't even I just heard him. I heard him tell me that, and I said no. I said no, I can't do that, and I didn't try it. I just continued with the lessons, and he kept encouraging me, and I just kept singing, and nobody in my family even knew I was taking voice lessons. Like, nobody knew.
The
But I
secret
pursued
soprano.
it. And I kept trying it. And then when I moved to different areas of the country, and both in Canada and United States, I always sought out a teacher, a vocal teacher, and that's when I started feeling the stereotypes, because they seen my face, they heard my accent, and because I knew my voice range already from my first teacher, and he told me that I'm a mezzo soprano, and I believed him because I felt it in my core, in my body, and I knew it to be true. So when I went and sought out for my other teachers in Denver, Colorado, and in Winnipeg, I automatically got stereotyped, and they would be like, how do you know you're a mezzo soprano? Like, they were shocked that I even knew that term, and I thought, well, wait till I hear me sing.
Or what? Or that you add a at the end of every sentence. I don't know what they were trying to stereotype you about.
Because I look Indigenous for one thing, and my Cree accent, and so I just thought, well, wait till you hear me sing, and you know what? Now the teachers, they call me to take lessons. I don't have to seek them out anymore.
Well, that's a full circle. Well, bam, take that.
Yep. Yes, for
So,
sure.
when did you start feeling confident enough to put yourself out there beyond lessons? Like, what was the point where you're like, you know what, the stage deserves me?
The first time I sang, like, I told one of my aunties that I was taking voice lessons, and she said that, well, maybe you should go and sing "O Canada" at the local Blizzard hockey game. And there's like 2,000 people that went to go watch the hockey game, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll try it out. So I contacted the hockey club, and and they agreed to let me go and sing. So I did, and the applause was just like amazing, and the energy in the room after I sang the anthem, and I sang it in Cree. It was so incredible. Like, and after that, I was addicted to how, as a singer, how I can move people, whether from clapping to standing to crying to laughing, and that was an addiction for me after that.
She is starstruck. So when
Okay.
you sing in Cree, did people freak out like, how dare you indigenize our hockey? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, because again, all that generational inner trauma and don't share anything and don't say anything and, so you were
I didn't I
extra
didn't
proud.
Yeah, I didn't experience that in my hometown of Opaskwayak. They loved it, they embraced it, and I got the translation from an elder from my community. But I did hear some when I went and recorded with the Toronto Symphony. I did hear some feedback on their website about exactly about that, about colonization and our anthem. But when I sing that song in Cree, I'm singing about the sacredness of the land. It's in the Canadian anthem, but I'm talking about how sacred. I'm singing about how sacred our land is in Canada.
And that affects everybody. So you're not isolating or cutting them out of the anthem. You're saying, hey, think about what our feet are on every darn day.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, and if they have a problem with it, then they have their own opinion, and
I got you.
it's their choice to feel that way. But that's not going to stop me from continuing to sing in Cree. And when I get asked to sing the anthem, I'm still going to go and sing.
That is huge. I mean, it's scary enough. And even the um national anthem here in the United States, I did that once at a baseball game, and that was terrifying because everybody's staring at you, and then there's a row of handsome boys in baseball uniforms staring at you,
And you're on the jumbotron.
and you're on the jumbotron. Each pimple is now this big. But again, this consistent theme of bravery. I'm blown away. There, I just reflect on so many points in my life where I was too afraid or didn't feel capable of it. So it wasn't a fear of failure, as a fear of you literally cannot do this. And you consistently meeting that head on. So I'm starting to get that the head in Rhonda Head means hard headed. I get it now.
Just trying. Well, for me, I've always thought outside the box since I was a young girl, and even though if I failed, like I just kept on going and trying different things, and I didn't realize I was learning from all the failures that did come my way. But yeah, I just kept on going, and I still do, and I still try new things, and if they fail, it's okay, and just try something else. And who knows? You never know if it's going to work out or not unless you try it.
It's like throwing spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks.
Right.
Okay, so after your big hockey game national anthem, did everybody start freaking out like, we need Rhonda, we need Rhonda?
I started after that. It kept inviting me back to go and sing, so I started doing that. And I want to thank the Opaskwayak Cree Nation Hockey, the Blizzard OCN Blizzard Hockey Club for allowing me to giving me that platform to start off my singing career. And then after that, like I already knew songs because from my voice lessons that I had taken. So I started getting asked to go and perform at banquets and galas and concerts. So from there, I was getting like standing ovations, and people were crying, and they would ask me if I had any CDs, and at that time I didn't. So it made me think about recording my first CD. So my first CD I recorded came out in 2010, called Kayas, and I recorded that one in 5 different languages. I won my first album won a music award And my late friend Jerry Atwell from Winnipeg said that it's very rare for an artist to win an award with their first inaugural CD, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was
So
just
I was
about
pretty
to
proud.
comment that. Like, you have no idea. Oh, I'm going to make an album. Oh, look, it just won an award. Like, you're making it look way too easy.
And I had so much fun recording that CD. I went and recorded it in Toronto. I was there for 5 days, and I recorded that CD in four. Actually, I was in Winnipeg, Toronto for a week, and I was in the recording studio for 4 days, and we finished the recording in 4 days. And that's what came out of it. It was lots of work, and I went to the studio every day. I sang my heart out, and then I was so tired after my sessions. I just went back to my room and went to bed.
That is incredible. Now, we got to grasp on your kind of music-ish career. So when did the health problems happen?
The health problems started when did it happened? Even before I started singing in public. It happened.
Okay.
Like,
See,
I
I
had
didn't know if that derailed what you were already doing, but here you were already succeeding, winning awards and blowing people away with surviving these health problems. So let's get into your body. Let's
okay.
what's under the hood with Rhonda Head?
Well, and I was 20, I think I was 22 years old when I first got diagnosed with a brain tumor. And that totally changed my whole world. I was devastated. My whole world was shattered the day that I got diagnosed. And it was, I stopped everything. I stopped all I stopped work. I stopped um, music. I just stopped everything and totally focused on my health. And I just did self-care for like a year, and then I had to prepare for my surgery, and I didn't know if I was going to survive or not, so I prepared myself to go to the creator. And I even I gave myself to him when I went into my surgery, and I said I was ready to come home. But then I woke up in excruciating pain, and I was still on earth, and I'm still here. So it was 11 and a half hour surgery, and it took me a year to recover. And then after that, I started getting back into the work field, and I didn't continue on with my music at that moment. I think I waited for like 2 years before I started getting back into singing. And I never told anyone about like I didn't my family knew and my community knew about my situation, but I never told anybody else, and I didn't want to tell anyone else. And especially when I went into the singing field, into the music industry, I didn't want my peers to know about my situation with my health, because I didn't want them to feel sorry for me and to welcome me into their circle, because I had a setback in my health. And when I won that award, I thought, well, I didn't share it. I didn't share it right away, but I did eventually. But I didn't want pity from any of my peers because of my situation with my health.
You're such a bad arse. Well, and it's not okay. So you already have to fight the racisms and the stereotypes and this and your adorable accent and all these things. So now you're going to bring to the table, hey, I have a health problem. It does feel like not embarrassing, but just unnecessary and none of their business.
Right. And then even before, even it grew back, like in when I was 30 years old, it grew back, and it grew back bigger. So I took another break, hiatus from everything, and had to go through all that again.
Two
And
times.
I got it twice. Yeah. So
And this is not just a minor thing like, oh, my mole grew back. This is a brain tumor.
yeah, yeah. So it was, I think the second time it grew back, it was more devastating because I knew what I was facing.
Well, obviously you're still here. So How did you handle the second surgery? I mean,
The second, after I recovered from the first surgery, I said I would never ever go through that again. And then when it
wow.
grew back again, I said, nope, I'm not going through the surgery. And I started doing research online on different treatments. And I found a treatment called Gamma Knife. And at the time, they didn't offer it in Canada. So I found a center in La Jolla, California, right by San Diego, and I went there to get treatment, and ever since then, my health has improved probably 80%, and I don't worry about it anymore. My tumor's shrunk to like that size, and it's dead. It's not growing anywhere. It's not growing, and it'll never affect me again.
Now, this experience, you wrote a book about it. Now, wait, did you write a book about like your life story? I was born a poor brown child, or or did it start with this experience of health?
I It's called my book is called Rhonda Head, mezzo soprano, memoirs of a res girl. So it's about me growing up in the bush. I should have just said I was born a poor brown child, because my first chapter is about I think I was like 6 years old when I was outside across my house hiding in the bush. Well, it was like my own little getaway there. There was a little area that I went to go and hang out by myself, and I remember looking at all the my. I was in their environment. I was looking at bugs living in their home where they were. There, I was just watching them, and that was their home, and I was in their environment, but I wasn't bothering them. I was just watching them, and that's how that my story starts. About me
Aw.
growing up on the res, playing
Now,
in the bush.
when was this book released?
The book was released, I believe, 2 years ago.
But it seems like the past 2 years, you almost have enough experience for a whole nother book. So is there going to be mezzo soprano memoirs of a rich res girl? Is that the title of the next book? Like, what's
It's
happening?
going to be volume two. I am planning to write another book. I was going to start it this September, but there's too much stuff happening. I'm still creating more chapters, so
Wait, here we
it's
go.
going to
Beyond
happen
beyond the bush.
beyond the bush.
Sounds, sounds kind of dirty, but it could work.
But yeah, I'm calling it a second edition to my memoirs of a res girl.
But you've had some success with this book.
I have, yeah, a lot of my peers or the people I grew up with on the res read my book, and everyone and people, well, they've ordered my book from all over the place, and they said it's the same story for them, and that they congratulated me on writing the book and being brave and sharing my story, and they said same thing happened. A lot of the things that happened to you growing up on the res happened to me. So they thanked me for sharing my story, and then they shared their story with me, and I thank them for sharing their stories as well.
So I think your new Indian name is Rhonda Bravehead because I literally that so sums up who you are because I can't somebody who's calm, quiet, and observant enough to hang out with bugs and just watch them do their thing and march under the rocks or carry their leaves or whatever the heck bugs do. That kind of gentle, timid personality has blown up into somebody who's so inspirationally brave and strong and writes and sings and it's such a contrast to me to imagine this little Rhonda in the bush to this soprano singing mezzo superstar.
Just the way what happened in my path, and not being afraid, like I said, to step out of the box and trying new things. Like when I get asked to do motivational speeches, I always talk about stepping outside of the box and don't be shy. And that'll set you back from achieving your goals. Try always. And if one goal doesn't work out, try make a new one and just keep at it.
But honestly, that can be exhausting. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess so. But you know what? When I write my goals down, when I start thinking about a new goal, I'll write it down so I don't forget about it, and I'm always thinking about it. And I don't write only one goal down. I write several, and they're always on the back of my mind. And sometimes when I have a bit of motivation, I'll go back and look at it, and then I'll start rethinking about it, and sometimes I'll make it happen.
Now, Rhonda Bravehead, I'm going to say that until it sticks because it makes sense. With your medical issues, have they made it any difficulties? Have they inhibited you in any way? Are you just carrying on?
I just carried on, but it does inhibit me a little bit, with my singing. Like you need to like open your mouth wide, and I can't do it because my muscles don't work that much on this side. This side of my face was half paralyzed after my first surgery, and then I'm deaf in 1 year. I thought that would affect me, but that part hasn't affected me at all. I just carried on, but I try and do facial exercises to help with.
I know it's radio, but to me, you're perfect and beautiful and just knocking it out of the park. So I guess I wanted to reflect on that just to show that it is not easy for you, that you still face challenges, but Rhonda
I
Bravehead knocks them out the park.
I faced many, many challenges, like from racism, intergenerational residential school trauma, my parents going to residential school, my language loss, the Michigan murdered Indigenous women, and then my health issues, and being a Cree woman with my accent too, and when going out into mainstream society, and getting judged because of that. So yeah, but persevere through all of it, and just keep moving forward. And I feel really empowered when I perform in front of non-Indigenous people because of the stereotypes that I have grown up with. And I always think, you know what, we can sing just as good as yous, if not better. Because of all of that passion, and the storytelling that we do. And it's true. And people, when I sing, and in a big crowd, and one of my I want to share this with you. When I sing in a room with a big crowd, and when I start singing, and there's absolutely quiet, nothing you hear but my voice, that's when I know I got him. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And then sometimes they'll clap, and you see people crying, and the best one for me is when I get a standing ovation. So that's my thank you from them for sharing my voice.
That is so powerful. There's tons of singers and musicians out there that don't get standing ovations. You know,
It's one of the best things, being a singer. I'm not kidding you.
so merch related stuff. The book, do you have CDs for sale? Where can people um line your pockets?
I have my book you can find on iTunes, and you can also find it on BookBaby. All my music's available on the digital platforms like iTunes, Apple Music, CD Baby, Spotify.
What about
D-
your website?
my website is www.rondahead.com.
And is all the links to the stuff there? That's where I'm snooping right now. Oh
I,
yeah,
I have to,
you got music.
yep, my book is
Oh,
on there.
your book. Yep, merch. Okay, so rhondahead.com is the links to all your links.
Yes.
I love when it's so easy. So your book, your music. Okay, we are 1 week into the new year, and you have a new song. We ended up last year with a few new songs. So, my goodness, woman, what is the right now with Rhonda Bravehead?
Well, today I'm releasing a brand new. Well, it's not a brand new song. Well, I guess it is. It's a song that I re-recorded it with the Prague Orchestra from Musiversal, and we recorded it. We started working on it in November, and I'm releasing it today. I'm really excited about it, and it's a song that I wrote in the Cree language, and then I translated in spoken word in English, and Musiversal let me know that I'm the first Indigenous person that they worked with, and the first Indigenous language that they worked with. So they were really excited about me working with them, and it's one of my dreams come true. And just watching the recording back in October, November, I believe that's when we recorded. But it was so emotional
Did
for
you
me
get
just
to
to
go?
hear an orchestra play
You
my music.
did you get to go to them, or was it like all COVID digital send you files?
It was all COVID.
Oh,
Yeah, but I would love to go there to go and meet the musicians in Prague, and I'm getting some really good gigs out of this song that I released today. I already have several. Well, we're in the talks for several concerts already.
well, we just got to kill that COVID, and that way we can see you on stage. Now, you talk about stereotypes. In many ways, I feed into the native stereotypes. I hate shoes. Um, I'm late for everything. But you crack me up because here you are, this Bush Cree baby, and you have a shoe fetish obsession and impeccably done makeup. So this is cracking me up.
Well, since because of the music and style that I sing, and I want to dress the part, and I don't only dress up for me. I dress up for my audience, and I want to make them feel good about how I'm dressing and what I'm wearing and my shoes and yeah, and I love shoes, and I keep buying them even though COVID is going on. I can't wait to wear them when you
You have
know.
nowhere to go, but here you are buying footwear. It's fine.
Well, I could wear them when I'm doing my virtual concerts, I suppose.
I don't see how you're going to make that work because all these Zooms are just headshots. So, are you going to put your foot in the air, like,
Maybe I should.
or just put the camera on your feet? I don't know. Do whatever you want. Obviously, you're doing something right. So,
And
but
for me, when I get dressed up, it's part of my warm up of when I do my performance. Like I'm already starting to get ready for my show, and I'm putting my makeup on and doing my hair and putting my dress on. I'm visualizing and I'm breathing and how I'm gonna look on the stage. So it's part of the process that I do before I perform.
it's so awesome. So, new song. I saw that on your website, the list of music people can listen to. Is that the new song or the original version of the song?
That's the original. I haven't had time to upload the
Okay,
my new
so
song, but I'll do that.
say it. Ki
Kisagitan. Kisagitan. The H is silent.
Sagitin. And that means I love
Kisagitan.
you.
I love you.
Love you. Now, was that inspired by somebody or is it just a generalized I love you?
It's a generalized "I love you." When I wrote the song, and the song was inspired by the melody that I wrote. I composed the song based on the landscape of my reserve, and I love where I come from. I love the land, and it's a generalization of my life and the land that I come from.
That's beautiful. So at this moment, where can people hear the new song?
You can go on to it's available on YouTube right now, and it'll be available I'm going to be sharing the links this afternoon on Facebook, on Twitter, and right now it's available on Amazon. And I'm just waiting for DistroKid to email me to let me know that they're going to be available on all the other digital media platforms.
And thanks to you, Rhonda Bravehead, we got the email first. Psh, psh.
That's right.
So but that's special. I feel like, I got your back. I support whatever the heck it is you do. I'm going to blast it on the airwaves.
And thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that.
Well, I feel like I don't have a choice because last year, your Christmas CD, EP, the few songs CD you sent, I took it to my grandfather's home and played it for him. And he starts crying and had to send you a video of how much he loves you. And then the residential home manager took your CD and started blasting it throughout the whole facility.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so
So
glad.
there's just something about you and who you is that is good for people.
That's awesome. Well, I try to spread love and caring and being kind. That's one of the messages I like to spread with my music, and to tell the truth too. Some of my songs aren't all lovey-dovey. Some of them have one of my song 500 years tells a story about our history of what happened to us.
Well, it's be kind, you're sweet, you're loving, and then you're wearing $1 billion high heels. It cracks me up. Well, and I love it. I love how you are. There's a pressure again coming from those residential schools and this like that. How safe is it to be native today? Is it safe to put a feather in my hair, or am I going to get ridiculed? Is it safe? And I feel that you are so you. You studied fashion, so you have a different outlook on clothes and putting it all together. And you're not inhibited by, you can't dress that fancy. You're a Cree woman. You do what you want, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to pave your own way, and I'm constantly reinventing myself, and get people used to me one way, and then I'll do something totally different, and throw them off balance a little bit, and just have fun and just be who you are, and it doesn't matter, if you don't want to wear makeup, that's fine, or if you don't want to wear high heel shoes, that's fine too, and but those are your own opinions, and they're fine too. Like, just be yourself.
Yay. Now, speaking of doing something different, I want to spend a few moments with your Indigenous superstars with Rhonda Head.
Awesome. Yeah, that show came about after last March. Everything came to a standstill. No more traveling. All our gigs started getting musicians' gigs started getting canceled, and my one gig in New York that I was supposed to go sing in New York at Carnegie Hall with the Flin Flon Choir, that really stung. And then I also started thinking about my fellow musicians, my fellow Indigenous musicians, and I thought, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? Or we can't travel anymore. Our gigs are canceled. Like, how are we gonna continue to keep our name out there? So I thought about doing some kind of a show online, and I always hashtag when I went when I went out on when I went out to travel, I'd always hashtag Indigenous superstar when we do a selfie with a musician. So I thought I'm going to use that for my name. So I started a show called Indigenous Superstars, and I've been interviewing a musician once a week. I started off as once a week, and now I do them twice a week. And the musicians that I've interviewed, the Indigenous musicians that I've interviewed, are from all over the world. I interviewed musicians from Canada, United States, Mexico, Japan, and Australia, and I'm looking at Sweden to in talks with a Sami, Indigenous Sami.
Yoinking, yoinking, yoinking. I love yoinking.
So it's been really exciting, and it was scary, of course. I was scared to death to do it, but I thought, well, the way I am, if something scares me to death, that means I have to try it and
we
challenge
know
myself.
we know that you thought of me. If that weird chick can do it, I could do it. I know that's
So and it was scary because I had no experience interviewing anyone, and I was kind of worried about my facial paralysis, and that was an insecurity for me. But I thought I just got over that, and I thought no, that our Indigenous musicians need to be out there. So I started the show, and I'm on my 54th guest
Oh,
on
see, I thought you
Monday.
were almost at 60. So keep it up. I'm paying attention. I'm counting you, boo.
I'm yeah, my next I'm on my 54th guest starting on this my next show, and I also started expanding to start interviewing people from the powwow trail because I also belong to that circle too, and I dance women's traditional, and I know a lot of people in the powwow trail that need to tell share their stories with us and their history of their communities and the history of the dance and their and protocols of the powwow trail, and it's my first interview was with Ruben Littlehead. He's a real famous powwow announcer in on Turtle Island, so he we had a really good
I was going to
conversation.
say infamous, but whatever, famous, whatever.
He's so much fun. Like I really enjoy it when he's MC. He makes it we're he's so entertaining, and he just makes the powwow a lot funner.
Yeah, he acts like it's his stand up comedy stage. So
Yeah, like it's his platform. Well, he is
Mhm.
funny.
We know we see you now. Where can people, when, who, what, where can they do the Indigenous Superstars?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. They can go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rhonda Head. It's also streamed on Twitter. I'm waiting for the application to be approved from LinkedIn. It's also on the Indigenous Superstars group page, my personal page, Rhonda Head, my fan page, Rhonda Head. I also started a fan page for Indigenous Superstars, and I also put it on social distance media that they graciously allowed me to share the show on their website, which has 2.5 or 225 members on their
I think
group
that's what
page.
we're up to now. I
Yeah.
think almost like 290. I want
Oh
to say
wow.
more than that. Like we're
Yeah. Well, it has a really high number of people that follow that page. So I'm really thankful that Whitney allowed me to share the show on their platform and giving us a voice, giving us Indigenous artists a voice as well.
so these are all archived and people can watch. Like they can finish with Resilience Radio and be like, I'm not done with Indigenousness, and they can go find you.
Yes, it's all archived on my YouTube channel, and I also have a podcast too called Indigenous Superstars. So they're all on there as well.
And when are you legally going to change it to Rhonda Bravehead? I'm just wondering when that's going to.
It's gonna stay as Indigenous Superstars. I got the logo trademarked, and
Look
I
at
think
you.
I got the logo trade, yeah, and I got a backdrop, and I'm gonna share this with you right now, but I'm in the planning stages of doing an award show for a virtual award show for Indigenous Superstars and amateur talent show. So that's in the works.
I can help you MC that as well.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
If you need a mouthpiece, I'm right there. I help you.
I do. I'll be yes, I'll take that offer up from you for sure.
Yeah, or I can hold the cards and be serious for the award of best ukulele. I don't know what we play. Well, Rhonda Head, Rhonda Bravehead, RhondaHead.com, Indigenous Superstars on the internet. I'm not going to botch the name of your new song. Uh, social
Sagiten, I
distance.
love you.
Say it again.
Sagiten, I love you with the Prague Orchestra.
It's huge. And I look forward to this COVID clearing up and letting you out of the barn, woman. Like I just stand back and watch in awe, and you inspire me to just keep going and try stuff. Why not?
Why not just do it?
Just no, Nike use that. You have to say it in Cree, okay?
Okay, why not? Work hard, play hard.
Right. Studis, Skoden. Oh, Well, I know I have to let you go because you're so
Okay.
important and have all these meetings. But again, rhondahead.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just give you a Google basically.
Yeah, you can find me, Google my name and all the sites will pop up.
You're a
And I
pal.
have a final word. I have a final word. These are my own words. It's follow your heart before your mind changes it.
When are we getting that on bumper stickers, t-shirts, and tattooed?
I'll work on it.
I can't wait. I am such a huge super fan. My family all the way out in California supports you. I silently stalk you. Anytime you got something coming out and anytime you need my airwaves, they're all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. I look
Thank you
forward
for
to it.
yeah, thank you for having me on your show.
Again, we're 1 week in to this year, and you're already like, here's a song with the orchestra. Here's my podcast. You guys want an award show? I got you. Like, you're blowing my mind.
Just keep moving forward. Think outside the box.
Woman, you burnt the box down. So there you go. All right. I appreciate it. I love you so hard, and keep me informed till the next single song, album, concert, award show, podcast, shoe line, whatever it is that's next for you. I'm ready.
Okay, I'll keep you informed. Like I
All
said,
right. Mwah. Chiuli. Rhonda Head, everybody. I love her.